Hey everyone, JD here. Today we have the Aviax H2O. So I'm quite pleased and quite looking forward to flying this particular model. This quadcopter, as you can probably guess from the name, is waterproof. So this actually does open up a whole world of other adventures for your quadcopter. So today I'm not going to be dunking her in any water, although the ground here, we have had 2 days of complete solid rain, so the ground here is very, very wet. So just to have a quick little look over the quadcopter as usual before we fly, all excuse me, of these 4 propellers are all clipped in with these little clips here. The A propellers are on the A strands. So there won't be any issues with direction there when you start to take her off. So the A propellers are on the A frame and the B propellers are on the B frame, so there should be B and B opposite each other and A opposite each other as well. So as you'll notice, there's no camera on this model. You can buy this model with a camera. I chose not to, purely because I wanted to test the waterproof of it without exactly how waterproof it was without damaging the camera. Okay, so to buy this particular model with the camera is going to cost you quite a little bit more. Alright then, so let's open up the battery bay. Now this copter comes with 2 batteries, which is actually quite a fantastic thing. Because normally they come with one, you'll have 7 minutes of flight and then that's it. This one comes with 2 batteries and touts 8 minutes of flight, so that in itself is quite an achievement. Alright then guys, so as you can see, once you plug the battery in and plug the battery into the quadcopter here, the lights come on straight away. There's no on and off switch, so you're ready to fly. As you can see, 2 green for the back, 2 red for the front is what I'm guessing here, purely because I would imagine that the receiver would be on the back of the controller, but we'll soon see when we take off. So let's go back to the controller, let's turn her on, oh okay, she's a feisty one. Right then, so let's take her up a little bit, let's fly around and see how she does. So this model will remind you a lot of the Simas. She's got that very distinctive quadcopter shape, very distinctive quadcopter sound as well. As you go to take off, you will notice that she is quite silent. She's quite quiet as quadcopters go. Actually, very silent. This is quite remarkable. I'm normally used to taking her out a little way and then still finding that I can hear the quadcopter so much. But with this doesn't seem to be the case. This sounds as if the motors aren't struggling at all with it. I mean, there isn't any wind here today whatsoever, so we're very lucky in that respect. God, she's so stable. There's no trim that's been used up to now. This is flying directly as you would have her out of the box. Okay, let's bring her down a bit there, just so you can keep on seeing her. Let's bring her towards me a little bit. Let's lower this altitude slightly. Oh, she did start to wobble a bit there, as you'd expect when you're bringing her down. But she seemed to right out of it quite easily. So, I'm staggered at exactly how quiet she is and exactly how stable she is as well. Okay, so let's take her for a little bit of a flight anyway. Let's take her around the place. Oh, really nice. This might be my new favourite quadcopter, to be honest with you. This is, I mean, as you can see there, I'm not touching anything, and she is, you know, a slight ascent, but all in all, she's not pulling back, she's not pulling forward, she's not pulling anywhere, she's just going where the wind is taking her, really, where the breeze is managing to push her. And there's hardly any of that, as you can see from the trees. Yeah, I'm really taken with this. First impressions are that she's extremely easy to control. There's absolutely nothing stopping her. It doesn't seem to be as if, with a lot of these large quadcopters, it does seem that when you are flying them, it seems as if they are struggling. The motors are struggling underneath the weight of the copter. With this one, it doesn't at all. I mean, this doesn't even sound, when you get too far away, it doesn't even sound as if it's still on, to be honest with you. So I'm having to feather up the throttle now and again just to see if she's still on, because I can't hear her. There we go. As you can see, I've just brought her back here to our stump, and she is absolutely soaking. But as the body does seem to be one piece, it is joined all the way around, apart from the little cogs there on the wings. It does seem that I just opened up the battery bay just to check on the battery, and the battery was completely dry. So it does seem to, what it claims to be waterproof does seem to be the case. Okay, so one of the features of this copter is that she has got cruise control, which apparently records 40 seconds of flight and then relays that flight without you having to touch the controller. Okay, so let's try this cruise control. Now it should, as soon as you take off, it should remember the last 40 seconds of flight. So I'm not going to give it 40 seconds. I'll just give her a little path, just straighten her up a couple of times, just take her up, turn her around, fly her back towards me. And then I'll bring her into a controlled descent. Cruise control didn't work so well. It did kind of work, or it did take over and it did fly itself. If I just try and show you again now what it did. So if I push and hold, and then as you can see the copter is flying herself. But I believe not every action that you put through this transmitter it picks up. It doesn't seem to be the case. It certainly doesn't look after altitude. That's something you're still going to have to look after when cruise control is on, which is to be expected, to be honest. So if I take her back up now, I'll look after altitude this time, push and hold this button, and as you can see, she is controlling herself now. So I'll bring her down a little bit. So it's just the movements itself she's controlling until I take over now. There we go. So I'm happy to say cruise control does work, although it's not entirely accurate as to whatever you put into here. Remember, when you do use it, you're going to have to look after the altitude. The altitude is not something it looks after itself. It just looks after the direction, and it just relays the last 40 seconds of whatever you've put in. So the next feature we're going to look at is return to home. So this feature is on so many different quads. Now it really is becoming a staple feature of most quads. So if I hold her at the back there, then it should be quite simple for her to know exactly where I am, and for her to read the transmitter and then be able to come back towards me. Nope, I think that's the battery. Alright folks, so that was the first battery now has gone through. So now, moment of truth, we'll open this cover and see if she is actually dry. Yes, totally dry on the inside. That battery is completely dry. It's very, very warm, but it is completely dry. So what I'll do is replace it for this one, because of course this particular quadcopter does come with two batteries. Once again, I'll put a link to the buying page of this quadcopter on Amazon in my description. So there we go. So we've got a couple more minutes now, another 7 of flight. So I'll take her up and we'll have a little look. There you go. Right, up she goes, very nicely. Right, okay. So here we go. Oh, nice little hot air balloon there in the distance. Beautiful. Bristol is the place for hot air balloons, mind. I don't know if you're aware of the Bristol Balloon Fiesta, but it's on every year, and it is a fantastic spectacle. If you haven't been, I would most certainly look into it. Okay, so again, even after changing the battery, I mean, there's no trim needed on this copter at all. She is just, well, stable. And it's actually really nice to find that this isn't just the case with one or two copters. There are more and more now which I'm unboxing and flying, which out of the box they just are so stable. They just don't need any trim, which again is a great feature. It just shows exactly how much good engineering has gone into these copters here. So I'm just bringing her backwards just to see how she flies backwards. Again, as well backwards as she does forwards, which is, I suppose, as good a compliment as you can give. Okay, so there we go. So we'll take off. We'll do a couple of flips and turns while we have some battery left in this second unit. Okay, so let's take her up to an altitude. Your 3D flip button is your shoulder button. So we're going to push it in, and then we're going to push the right thumbstick here, and then that then will give us the flips. So 1, 2, 3 in. Flips to the right there quite nicely. Let's bring her down a bit and a bit more towards me. I don't want her going up too high. Okay, let's turn her around. Let's bring her into me. Hello. Yes, here you are. So again, let's do some flips. So holding down the shoulder button, click it once, and then this is really fun. This is quite fantastic, because whenever you go to do a flip on any other copter, it's just one beep and then she does it. Whereas this one has got a sense of you really have a sense of anxiety when you push that button and the controller starts to beep as loudly and as erratically as it does. So let's take her up. Let's do a forward flip. Again, rights herself so well. Let's bring her back to me. There's a bit of a sneaky bird there trying to get in on the shot. Fantastic little device. Absolutely fantastic. Nice slow movement over to me. There we go. Let's bring her down. Controlled descent. There we go. Beautiful. Beautiful. So let's see if we've got any battery left, and we'll do a couple of flips to the left and the right. Up she goes. Doesn't do very well in long grass. This grass here isn't particularly long, and still finding that she has a little bit of blade burn, I like to call it, as she takes off, which is basically where she just cuts the grass, turns into a remote control lawnmower. So let's bring her down a bit. Brilliant. Okay, and we'll do a flip backwards. And here we go. One last little fly around while we've still got some battery left in her. Just so you can see her again. Bring her down to me. Okay, maybe not at me. That's really good. It's really good. Really good. Okay, let's... Again, so silent. So quiet. Sorry, rather than silent. So quiet when you fly. Okay, let's bring her down. I can start to feel the controls are getting quite heavy, so I'd imagine this battery is starting to go as well. So let's bring her down. Okay, so final thoughts. Very easy to control, fantastically light. Not as light as the LS114, though have you. About as light as a standard Cyma X5C. She is very nimble. She 3D flips without any issue at all. Comes with 2 batteries, flight time of about 6.5 minutes, even though it's rated to 8. And to be honest with you, the best feature in my estimation, that I think the best feature of it is that she's waterproof. And as you can see, she is soaking wet, and when I came to change the battery, as you'll remember, the battery was stone dry. So fantastic. What a great little copter. I do recommend this, most definitely. So there we have it, guys. This has been the Aviax H2O. So I hope you've enjoyed. Please subscribe, please click the like button, and I'll see you in 1 week's time. Okay guys, thanks very much for watching. Take care.